When we think of the civil rights movements, we often think of figures like Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. But what if I told you there were others? Brilliant, radical, determined, who built the foundation of the civil rights movement without demanding the spotlight. This is where Ella Baker comes in. Ella Baker was born in December 1903 in Norfolk, Virginia. Her family later moved to North Carolina. Ella grew up in a family where her grandmother was a former enslaved person who was whipped for refusing to marry a man. She grew up in a family that valued education, justice, and the civil rights movement. Even Ella herself said her family had great influences on her. Ella Baker graduated from Shaw University as valedictorian in 1927. During her college years, she really challenged authority. She emphasized that a lot of rules were targeting women at the university. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. To that president in the back who tried to kick me out the historically black university numerous amount of times, what's good? Oh, and to the all-white staff who wanted me to sing Negro spirituals, what's good now? This early activism foreshadowed her long and successful career as a community activist and grassroots organizer. In the late 1920s, after she graduated, Ella Baker moved to Harlem to experience the Great Depression and Harlem Renaissance. There, she worked for the Young Negroes Cooperative League, where she promoted self-help and cooperative economics. At this point, she became very influenced by black intellectuals and activists such as W.D. Du Bois, A. Philip Randolph. She became increasingly critical of capitalism and racism as intertwined systems that oppressed black communities. Ella Baker gave credit to the Young Negroes Cooperative League, quoting, "I suppose that the first organized effort that might be considered something of civil rights was the Young Negroes Cooperative League." Baker reflects as an early form of civil rights activism through economic cooperation. Now, keep this word in mind, cooperation. Later on, Ella went on to work for the NAACP, where she met the most illustrious Martin Luther King. She was originally hired as a field secretary, but later became director of branches. Now you may be wondering, what did Martin Luther King Jr. have to do with Ella Baker? Oh, what didn't they have to do with one another? Ella Baker and Martin Luther King Jr. often went back and forth about successful leadership styles. Ella Baker quoted, "Martin wasn't the kind of person you could really engage in dialogue with, especially if that dialogue questioned his authority. Martin isn't very good at receiving critical questions." The NAACP had her doing things like running coffee, printing, scanning papers, and you know what she did? You're not gonna believe what she did. She bit her tongue. Of course, she tried to call out the injustice that was being done to her. Having a black woman sit in the back of the NAACP filing paperwork when she knew that she had the most organizing experience out of anybody in the organization. But she realized that this was deeper and bigger than just her. And she bit her tongue because guess what? She knew it was deeper than her. She ended up founding the Southern Christian Leadership Conference with Martin Luther King after the Montgomery bus boycotts. She ended up working really close with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. But she did not like his top, bottom-down, male-dominated, patriarchal leadership style. In 1960, after the Greensboro sit-ins, Ella Baker invites student activists to her alma mater, Shaw University. Now this is where things changed. She founded the SNCC, or the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee. For her, the SNCC was a way to empower young black people. After what Ella Baker had gone through in her role with the NAACP and Martin Luther King Jr., Ella knew one thing was for sure, that it was better to empower individuals within the movement rather than relying on charismatic leadership. Quote, "You didn't see me on television, you didn't see news stories about me. The kind of role that I tried to play was to pick up pieces or put together pieces of which I hoped organization might come." Baker emphasized the importance of behind-the-scenes organizing and collective action over individual recognition. We who believe in freedom cannot rest. Baker believed in the power of the people, not just the powers of leaders. Her philosophy centered on grassroots organizing, where everyday people work together to fight justice from the ground up. She often said, strong people don't need strong leaders, pushing back against the idea that one person should speak for everyone. Instead, she championed participatory democracy where every voice mattered, because that was the type of person Ella Baker was. And although many people don't know her name, many people recognize the works she's done because of the impacts it's had on their lives.